Hello, this is Krinstar, and today I am going to go through, kind of describe how translating guitar tabs into Midi. It's something that I actually did recently, and I wanted to go over it. And the reason why first I'll demonstrate kind of what I did, and then I'll give a longer explanation of why. So here we go. I was walking down and I was listening to some music, rap being one of my favorite bands, 80s hair metal. And I wanted to know how they were doing something, and I thought, well, let me figure out how to replicate this. So basically brought up the song, looked at this. This is all kind of foreign to me. I kind of know, based upon some YouTube tutorials and videos, what a guitar tab looks like. Basically, these numbers represent the numbers on the fretboard, but still, it doesn't give me an A, a B. It doesn't show any notes. Some of these actually do, but this one realistically does not. This site is actually pretty cool for a guitar tab. You could play this, and I think they rip apart the streams so that you can just listen to this part alone. And then they have the different streams here that basically I can focus on the guitar, the first guitar, the second guitar, the lead guitar, that's playing. And so realistically, I could take this riff, and do it. So I know the zeros are pretty much what the chord is. So if you see a zero on any one of these, I believe it's pretty much going to be the chord that's playing here. It means it's an open chord where you're just strumming on the chord, and that chord's going to always be a D chord with nothing pressed. The 7/5, I don't really know. You couldn't tell me. So I can go through Scalar and guess the notes and stuff like that, or I can go to this chord namer. And basically, the 5 and 7 are on the A and the D, right? So you follow the A, 5, 7, and you hit go, and A brings up a D5. And me still not being able or not doing enough chord theory, in chord naming to know what the proper chord is. So I kind of had to cheat a little, went into Google, and that's the DNA chord. So we go back into Bitwig and we go look it up, and lo and behold, there's the DNA chord. I mean, I put in the DNA chord. So pretty much, um, this is D. So we got D, D, and zero, and then I can test by playing it, and does it sound like the note? Yeah, it kind of does. So it's kind of cool, um, putting it like this, and basically, one of the reasons I like this site is because they break it up, like a 4x4 beat, so I can understand the timing. So basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're eighth notes at least within a 4-bar, 4-beat system. So basically, I got this on a 16th grid, so it's two of them by two of them by two of them by two of them. So they're all eighths based upon, um, this music here. So D, D, and then a power chord D, power chord D, 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 power chord D, 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 power chord D, 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 and so on, so forth until here. And this one's kind of weird, but listening to the song, basically this just means that there's still two D hits, and then a power chord that goes to the length of the bar, if I'm not mistaken. Um, it's basically half, still 4 beats, but only 2 notes are played in it. If I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm not the strongest in music theory. That's the reason why I like Scalar and all this other stuff to help me along until I get better at it. But practice, 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 and watching all this stuff, and I hope I am getting better. But still, the memory's not there yet. So anyway, I have what appears to be something really really kind of cool. And if you know this song, um, I'll explain exactly why I picked this song out of everything. Do a bit of history with me, but for right now, where's my drums? Oh, there it is. All right, and that goes for some time. So I was messing with it around a bit more, and I came up with a sort of a loop using kind of different sounds. Okay, and now we'll go into the long form of um, why I picked this song. A Lack of Communication by Rat is one of the songs that when I heard it in the 80s, I think my dad was a huge metalhead. In my house, I always had Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Dio, Ronnie James Dio is huge. Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne. In the early 80s, between the years of 80 and 85, metal was kind of really big in the States. Really big, sort of big on MTV, like really big. If pop music like Michael Jackson or some new wave was playing, metal was also making a thing, and it was different. It was loud, it was noxious, and my dad was into it. He'd always play it. So my dad always picks up a lot of CDs. He had, I think, at the time around 3,000 cassette tapes. Um, all various different music, mostly metal. He listened to like Megadeth and Metallica before they got before, like first CD came out, and it was basically an EP. He still had it, kind of stuff. He we lived close to LA, so the metal scene there with the hair the big the hair it was really easy to get metal cassette tapes. Metal Blade Records was out of LA if I remember right. Tower Records. So the music was there. You just had to look for it. And my dad big into heavy metal, or at least metal back then. Between the 70s and into the 80s, new British new wave of heavy metal and that kind of stuff, and the hair brand. And one of the hair bands that came out was Rat, and Rat was all over the place. You had Bon Jovi, you had Poison, you had Motley Crue. Motley Crue's huge, obviously, on MTV and stuff like that. And Rat was like one of my favorites that my dad used to play all the time. And Out of the Cellar was a phenomenal record. It's like one of their best, if not their de facto best album. Um, and on one of theirs, Lack of Communication, which this was trying to be a slight cover on the intro. Um, Lack of Communication, the beginning guitar riff was a major kind of a oh my god moment for me, and it has been an iconic riff for me, among the major riffs that anybody can think of, either Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen or even currently with anybody else. This one will always be, or even Scorpions. Rock You Like a Hurricane type of intro. This one's like de facto in my head, taking up space as probably one of the best starting opening riffs there is, um, because of based upon sort of the timing and everything else. But I've always kind of wanted to learn how to do this, and it's taken quite almost half a century to get to at least this point of being able to perform it at least in Midi, let alone on a guitar. On a guitar, it seems actually perfectly easy. You hit the first string, and then you put your two fingers on the next two strings, and you strum those two strings, and you go back and forth between the two. It sounds really easy, and it's taken me this long to figure that out. Anyway, neither here nor there. The Rat's Lack of Communication. I don't like playing stuff that could technically be picked up on YouTube and had a strike against me. So I don't want to play the actual song that this does. I invite you to do it yourself though. Go look it up on YouTube. Go look it up on Spotify, iTunes, or whatever your favorite music choice. Listen to it. It's hair metal. It's 80s, and it's got a pretty good intro. for a riff, at any rate, and it was mind blowing when I was probably in middle school when this came out, so it was mind blowing to me when I first heard it. Um, so yeah, kind of wanted to do this. I'm kind of really happy. I kind of went this far. Of course, it's not as good as the original, and that's why I'm not afraid to do it because this is technically a cover. So YouTube can't use their really good algorithms to pick me up and flag me for copyright notice and rattles, and their legion of lawyers out after me. Yeah, as if. Um, but uh, um, but no. So this is probably as far as I get into doing anything on that. So any rate, neither here nor there. I kind of was wanting to show the how to translate this into using this chord namer, and then finally into the actual chord, and then pop it into the Bitwig to try to reproduce some of the songs that you like. I know it was awfully quick. I kind of wanted to give an overall general, and I wanted to talk about kind of some history with this particular one, since I don't really talk about my music taste a whole lot on videos. I'm a huge metalhead, especially the early '80s stuff. But any rate, basically, I'll put the sites that I used up on the description. And you can do your own. This one's kind of really cool for I this blew my mind for trying to figure out um the actual frets and stuff like that. So another example would be these 5/3. So you go in here, you'd say, okay, A, A. So this is the third fret off of A, and this is the fifth fret off of D. So that one, and then hit go, and that's the C5. And so if you don't know what a C5 is, you go look it up. It's also a G sus4 if you wanted to go that route. But chances are this is a power chord. So therefore it's going to be just probably the root note in the fifth on there. So this is probably the correct one. But anyway, I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching if you made it this long, and I will see you in the next one.